Hello everyone. So today's message is a very simple one, and it's based on Exodus 17 verse 1 to 7, where Moses and the Israelites have been wandering in the wilderness. They've run away from Egypt, and the people are grumbling. In fact, they're doing more than grumbling. They are having violent thoughts. Some have even picked up rocks, and Moses says to God in one desperate conversation, "These people are so thirsty, Lord, that they are thinking of stoning me," literally throwing rocks at me. And you'll remember the story. God instructs Moses to strike a rock with his staff, and water comes rushing out. And the temptation during a drought to speak about the water is very high. But I thought that I would tell you that my thoughts move towards the rock. Now, the fact that we have in our lives all probably faced some very hard thing, something that seems to stand in our way, something that seems in a way to threaten us, and we respond in different ways. But what interests me is that the rock, the very rocks of the wilderness that Moses extracted water from, are the rocks that some of those Israelites held in their hands and considered harming someone with. And so I got to thinking about the fact that out of hard things, when we face hard things, we quite often harm ourselves or others because of the hard things we face. But it is possible, and surely with God's help probable, that out of hard things life can come. And so of course we look at the water that flowed from the rock in the wilderness that Moses struck, and how everyone had enough to drink. But I was looking for an example, because I know that for the young people it might just be a test or exam that's hard, and it seems like something that they can't get through. For others it's much worse than that. It's a breakdown of a relationship or difficulty financially. And for some of us who have traveled a little further, we know that there are things that we think we might break ourselves against, or that might hurt us and harm us without ever being able to recover. But with God's help, there is life in hard things. And so I decided, instead of going on and on about an obvious thing, I would interview somebody who has impressed me so incredibly in having completed the Ironman, a hard thing, but not just complete the Ironman, complete it in a way that raised funds for our very own Tandasana. And I have to think, I could not get my mind away from the fact that this is a hard thing, tackled with godlike strength, and it has produced life. So today, I'm going to be interviewing Crystal Pierce, Ironman finisher and Tandasana fundraiser. My focus, of course, is on hard things, and what I love about Crystal's story is that life flowed from tackling a hard thing. And I think it's a story worth telling, it's a story worth listening to, and in so many different ways. Something that could even challenge us who are not runners or cyclists or swimmers to realize that in the midst of hard things, there is life. It requires hope and faith. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, what made you decide to do such a hard thing?
So, to do the race, I've always watched it, and I've decided that I wanted to do it one day. So I started small. I started with the corporate, and I moved up the 250, 150s. They don't do that anymore. And COVID time, we're going to do the 70.3, which got deferred to 2021. And I said, if that race goes well, I'm just going to carry on training for the full. And then I did.
And you said something about going to watch. Like you used to watch.
Oh yeah, I used to watch. You go down and watch the last runners coming, because they need.
We call them the stragglers. Is that fair?
I say that the true Ironman.
Okay. Nicely said.
Because they've been on the road for hours,
Yeah.
where the guys, I think the winner did it this year in like 7 hours something, and I did it in 14 hours, so it's double my time. So
It's insane.
yeah.
And that inspired you. What, you decided that you're going to
Yeah.
do it because why not?
Yeah, I thought I'd do it once.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. And so tell us about the event, because there are people that will be watching this video, or maybe even together with us this morning, who don't know what Ironman is. Tell us about it.
Okay, so they called Ironman the ultimate triathlon. So it's a 3.98 kilometer swim with a 180.2 kilometer ride
Sure.
with a 42 kilometer 0.2 because marathon run all in one day. You normally have
So a bit longer than a park run.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a bit.
You normally have 17 hours to do it in, but with PE they have to do it in 16 hours 45
Sure.
minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's quite an event. And how did it go?
To me, I went well, even though I didn't do as well as I did last year, but the weather conditions I think were worse. We had like a head-on wind the whole way.
Sure.
So we were praying for like a westerly,
Yes,
you
to
know,
blow you home.
to blow us home. Because going up, if you have an easterly, you're going uphill, so it doesn't actually help you. So, but that was most of the way. Was
Sure.
an easterly. We only had a westerly on our second loop.
Yeah.
And the rain.
Yeah.
In-
Does
on
that
the
make
rain.
it hard? Doesn't it keep you cool?
It does keep you cool, but the rain, you have to like also concentrate a lot more when you're on your bike.
Oh,
you,
yes, of course.
like, my mom's gonna kill me now. When I go down Maitlands, I go about 60 k's an hour
Yeah.
on the bike.
Yeah, with a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, just a helmet.
Yeah.
So if you hit any of the paint lines, you
Yeah. Which of course you avoid.
yes, you
Mom.
try. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then that brings the effect on the run. Well, yeah, if you wet feet,
Yeah.
it's blisters.
Of course, because
So-
everything's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we had torrential rain.
Do you have? I mean, speaking of the different disciplines, do you have a strength or a weakness in the triathlete part of the event?
Yeah, so I always say don't excel at one sport when you can suck at three because you actually can't excel at all. But my strongest leg is bike.
Okay.
And then swim, and then running. I did running just because I have to.
Okay.
So-
My favorite part of bicycle riding is freewheeling, but I guess that doesn't come into it. So
It does. It's a whole way of thinking.
yeah.
It's not just about getting on your bike and riding. So
Yes.
you have to conserve energy because you're doing. Let's put it this way: Maitland's twice. So
Yeah.
So downhills you try to conserve. So if you're going at a certain speed, you actually go. If I pedal, I will waste energy if I'm not going to beat my speed or there's a whole science behind it.
Okay.
It's not just
And tell me, obviously the reason I'm interested in your story, there's several reasons I'm interested in your story, but one of the reasons is because we're talking about hard things. How hard is hard when we're talking about the event that you took part in? How hard is hard?
So everyone thinks the race day is hard, but I got told when I first trained for my first one, it's actually training which is hard. And then I started realizing being the second one, it is, because you're juggling work, social, friends who don't really know the sport that well or don't know sport. So you're up at, for me, being a healthcare worker and that, I'm up at 5, running at 5. So that means I'm up at 4:30, running, still did a whole day of work
Sure.
in, and then, going home and trying to survive. Yeah.
And what's the toughest part of tackling a hard thing?
Is the motivation and why you did it, why you started.
That's interesting.
You have to keep reminding yourself why you started.
Yeah.
Because everything in life is going to be hard. It's not going to be.
Do you ever consider giving up? I mean, during the race itself? I mean, while you're working as hard as you are, you're tackling this hard thing. Does it ever cross your mind if you just stop running now? Or
This year, I would say, because we had thunderstorms on the run, there's some nice pictures with some athletes in the
oh wow, wow.
I pushed the bike and went, if they pull us off the rain course, it will be okay.
Yeah.
But I won't give up until they pull me off. I've got that endurance, as people always say.
Yeah.
Never give up until you
Yeah.
literally get pulled off.
That's amazing.
But
That's amazing.
but
I
it
suppose
gets tough. You
yeah.
talk to yourself and wonder why you're doing what you're doing.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And so my focus is life from hard things.
Yeah.
And my idea, certainly my message is that if we tackle hard things and don't let them hurt us, if we tackle them, there is a possibility of getting life out of it. It's actually a life-giving thing to take on hard things. So my theme, obviously life from hard things, is interestingly portrayed in your Back a Buddy fundraising event. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about that. How did it work? How did you do? And, Back a Buddy.
Yeah, so basically, I always said in the beginning I would do a Ironman for charity because it's a hard thing, so let's get something good out of it. And yeah. So the first time I did it, I was coming out of COVID and the admin and that was just too much for me to actually, I was just trying to survive life. So this year, also, with it moving up a month, I got a bit lazy, but I had a month before the race and I set it up. And yeah, I didn't even think we would get the 10,000.
And why 10,000? There was a reason for that, I think. I think I was told that it costs about 10,000 rand per month to look after a child. Am I right?
It's actually 15,000.
Yeah. So you undersold your effort.
I undersold my effort, and then I got to the 10, and then I started saying, okay, if we get 15, we at least have one child.
Yeah, for 1 month.
For 1 month.
No.
And then we got that, and then I was like, do I push it to the 20? Or pushed it to 20, and then I started being cheeky, like on the Friday just before. I was like, well, we got this, it's race weekend, let's see if we can get to the 30. So in the end, we're close to 23,000.
Sure, that's incredible.
It's like 22 something.
Yeah. So you're nearly at 2 months for one child.
Yeah.
Or 1 month for two children.
Yeah.
Already. And if you'll excuse the pun, will you rock up and race again?
For this race, too soon.
Okay, that's fair.
We all got off going, we're selling our bike, anyone wants a bike, go and cheap.
That's fair.
But I actually have the series medal in mind this year, so that means I do the Durban in June, which is a 70.3.
Yeah.
So known as the half Ironman.
Yes.
So it's half the distance I did, and then Mossel Bay, and then those are all 3 Ironman.
And then you're chasing a different medal.
Then you get a combined medal.
Show your medal to whoever's watching. It's a glorious thing. It's as close as I will ever get to one, but I think it's an amazing thing. And obviously you're not going to close the Back a Buddy thing.
No.
And so the people watching the video particularly, or the people that are in the congregation where we talk again, they still have an opportunity to back you, maybe even for that series medal, or just because they care about children the way you care about them, or because they also for some reason feel a resonance in the fact that life can come from hard things, and this life is not even yours, it's extended to children. So I think that it's a wonderful thing. Should we put a link in the video? And so if you're watching the video, we'll try and put a link in there. Otherwise, how do they find it?
It's on the Time to Sign Up Facebook page.
Good. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, but I think that's the easiest way.
Yeah.
So either go to the Time to Sign Up Facebook page, which is worth looking at anyway, or if we can, we'll put a link in.
Yeah.
New to me, we'll try. And then I think that there will be people out there who watch it and go, you know what, I'll back you.
Yeah.
I'll back you on it.
I mean, I've gotten people that I don't even know
that
have backed me up.
I see some of the payments are in US dollars, which interested me. Those people should back us more.
Yeah.
And
I think that's also some of them are through PayPal.
Good. They should give more.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that we back you, and we love the way that you have backed Time to Sign Up. And for us, that makes it a very exciting journey. So thanks for chatting. I really appreciate your time and your effort, and you are a huge inspiration to us. And I will always watch the true Ironmen from now on, those who take the full time to do the course and go, I understand. Thank you so much. Thanks. Although I've based my life from hard things theme and thought on the Exodus reading, and perhaps you want to go and reread that yourself, isn't this a beautiful thought? I'm reading quickly from Romans 5, verse 1 to 11, and an extract from there reads like this: We also boast in our suffering, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through His Holy Spirit that has been given to us. It is hope that we need if we want to get life out of hard things. It is hope that brought water from a rock in the wilderness 3,000 years ago. It is hope that kept Crystal on the road or on the bike or in the sea. And I hope that it is hope that keeps you going when you face hard things too, because there is life there.